So we are still in chapter 2, and as I told you, chapter 2 is full of terminologies, مصطلحات يعني, okay? So what have we covered? What are the different terms that we covered? Data model, I explained database schema, schema diagram, schema construct, database instance, database state, external view, logical data independence, physical data independence. I have not explained this one yet. I'm going to cover this one. But do you have any questions in these words? If you don't understand them, please ask me. Any questions, Shabab? Okay, that's good. So if you understand all of these words, I'm sure some of you are مجاملين كده ممشيين لنا لكن ايش نسوي؟ Okay, but if you have any question, please ask. Okay, don't ما تستحيش يعني. Okay, please do that. Okay.
لا كل شيء واضح دكتور يعطيك.
واضحة مش كده؟ Very good, very good. Now, just to make sure that to be confident, data model, what does it mean? Simply, data model is the way you imagine how the data is stored. In this course, we assume that data is stored like tables. We imagine that data is like tables. Physically, it might not be tables. It can be anything else, but we don't care. But data model simply tells us, okay, imagine the data as if it is tables. Okay, just to make sure that you understand data model. So you don't only imagine it as tables, but also you process it as tables. You think of it as rows and columns and so on. Okay, so let's continue in that case if you don't have any question. I think we reached here. So data DBMS language. Just to make sure that you understood what DBMS is. DBMS is simply, let's say this is my database. I'm going to draw this many times, معلش. I have my data here in tables. I imagine them as if they are in tables. This is my data model يعني. So let's say my database contains 4 tables يعني. And there is a program here called DBMS that I'm going to buy from Jareer Database Management System. And I'm going to have my application program maybe written in Java, inshallah, في المستقبل. And let's say I'm going to here, using my computer, I will connect to the application. Of course, I'm going to use my mobile, whatever it is here. Sorry, what happened? And the application will talk to the DBMS, and the DBMS will answer to the application program. The application program will answer to my mobile, and my mobile will answer to me, of course. And the DBMS is the one who takes care of my tables. I'm not going to touch the tables directly from here to here. It doesn't exist, ya shabab. You have to go through all that, yani, okay? Now, the question is the following. DBMS understands only one language, which is SQL. معايا شباب? Now the SQL, you have to write it in your application. يعني in your application, you will have Java mixed with SQL. كلمتكم هذا صحيح? So the SQL will go to the DBMS, and then the DBMS will take the command, which is an SQL, and he will perform whatever you want him to do. If you want to create a new table, he will create a new table for you. If you want to delete a row, he will delete a row for you. If you want to add a row, he will add a row for you. So you have to ask him exactly what to do using SQL. So SQL, which is this language, I'm going to teach you SQL, inshallah. It will take you maybe 6 days to understand it, but it contains 4 components. It contains data definition part, it contains the storage part, it contains view part, it contains data manipulation part. So simply, if I draw this one for you, just to make it clear. So if this is SQL, so SQL, it has 4 components. Data definition language. And we will see, inshallah, when I teach SQL, you will understand what do I mean by DDL. And we have also data manipulation language. I don't know why they call them language. It's just the part of SQL. كلهم SQL هم, but it has different components. يعني. And it has storage and it has view. These 2 I'm not going to cover this semester. I'm going to cover only the DDL and the DML. Okay? The DDL is the one we will use when we want to create a table. So each time I say create table, create table, create table. So I have to use the SQL, which is the DDL part of SQL. Now this one, we don't create anything. This one, we just insert rows, we delete rows. So we play with the values here. DML simply means play with the values. Add new values, delete values, insert values, update values. So this has to do with values. Send me a value manipulation, okay? And this is creation of tables and so on and so on. But don't worry about this one. Inshallah, when we come to SQL, I will exactly show you how to create tables using DDL and how to manipulate values using DML, inshallah. Any question here? Any question?
No.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let's go to the next statement. So don't care about this and don't care about this for now. Okay, so even Java has different components. In Java, we have conditional statements, we have loop statements, we have other kind of statements. The same thing. Even Java has different types of languages or statements, and we have the same thing here. Also in SQL, we have DDL statements and we have DML statements. The next thing is about DBMS. Now let's talk about DBMS. ايش الفائدة منه? First of all, how do we interface DBMS? So let me take you back into this, what they call هنا. نرجع لهنا. So I'm talking about DBMS here, this one here, this DBMS. What I'm saying is, how do we interface to it? We don't the only interface for DBMS is using what? Using SQL. But the good thing about SQL is I can have different applications. Inside them, I can put SQL, and then they can talk to the DBMS, and he can talk back to them. Another application here. He can talk to the DBMS, and the DBMS can talk to him. Now, this one is written in Java. This one is written maybe in Python. Maybe this one is written in Visual Basic. It doesn't matter. As far as you are just sending SQL to me, I don't care what you do here. So the interface can be Python, the interface can be Java, the interface can be what? Can be Visual Basic, it can be any language, it doesn't matter. Most of the languages, they embed SQL inside them. So you can write Visual Basic, and inside Visual Basic you can put SQL. Inside Python you can put SQL. Inside Java you can put SQL, okay? So I can use whatever language I want. So the interface to a DBMS can be menu-based interface. It can be forms-based interface. The forms, maybe they were created by Java or by Python. Graphical user interface, maybe can be this graphical interface, maybe it was by Java or by Python, it doesn't matter. Or natural language interface. You can even talk to DBMS, okay, like this. I told you about this one, okay, I was doing this one, but let me just repeat it. Maybe this, you can talk to him. Say talk, تكلم يعني هنا. So what happens is, let's say this Visual Basic program will convert your speech into SQL, and he will send the SQL to him. So then he will do whatever you want him to do from the database, and then he will come back to us. And then again, the same program will convert this one to sound, and he will talk to you. In fact, when I was living, when I was doing my PhD, sometimes I was taking a train, and I come to the train, and sometimes I don't know what time the train will come. So I was talking to a program, I don't know in what language they wrote it. So I was saying, what time is the train coming? Then the program will convert my language into SQL, and then he will go to the database, then he will go to the table and bring the train of the time from here, because everything is reported in these tables. Then he will bring the time back. Let's say maybe the time back is 9:30. Then he will come back here. Then he will tell me 9:30. So I will hear him saying 9:30. But the program was written in, I don't know in what language it is, but I am sure it was converted to SQL, because the DBMS doesn't understand except SQL. So you can even use what? You can even use speech, input and output, no problem. Also, we have different interfaces for DBAs. And last time I showed you a picture about when you are a DBA, you can have this kind of interface. I don't know whether I showed you that interface. Did I show you a picture somewhere? Anyhow,
Yes.
I think I showed you. I don't know. I don't have it. Maybe I thought I had it in this slide.
The picture
Maybe.
with many screens. You mean?
Exactly. So that's an interface to the DBA. So whatever is happening in those screens at the end, maybe the screens they are using Java. I don't know. They are using Python. It doesn't matter. It was done by another company, and then everything will be converted into SQL. So the interface can be anything you like. And in fact, in your project, when I am going to give you a project, maybe some of you will use Java, maybe some of you will use Python, maybe some of you will use PHP, whatever you like, it doesn't matter. Okay, I don't care about what language you will use, as far as that language includes SQL inside it. What are the different components of DBMS? So this topic is talking about the different components. We have buffer management, we have storage management, and so on. Let me just show you. I'm talking what are the different components here. This one has different components. You have a buffer management. I'm talking about the DBMS Shabab. What does it contain? It contains many methods. Many methods. Many of them. Of course, this was developed by Oracle, and Oracle has been doing this one for more than 40 years. They were improving DBMS. Now, what are these different methods? These different methods are the following. Some of them are they manage the buffer for you. Some they store the data for you. Some stores they do the DDL compilation for you. Some they query processing, pro-compiler, runtime database processor, system catalog, concurrency control, backup and recovery. These are just a small list of what the DBMS methods are, but there are many methods. So this is one method, this is another method, this is another method, and all of them are inside what? Inside DBMS. So the DBMS is simply it's a component of many modules. Do you understand this one, Shabab? Is this point clear?
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't matter whether you understand what is concurrency control, what is backup and recovery. It doesn't matter. Okay. How does he do concurrency control? لو أنت عايز تفهم concurrency control, I think this one will take us another 5 chapters تقريبا So it's quite huge Okay. And so on Backup recovery, at least it will take us another 2 or 3 days to understand, to explain backup and recovery. So, but all these components, they are already inside the DBMS. Now, let me go back to your ICS 201. In ICS 201, you had a project. Can somebody tell me what was your project, Ya Shabab? If you remember.
For me,
yes.
A merge application.
It was what?
Yes.
Merge application.
Merge application. Was there any data?
It reads from Excel the data we want, the emails, the information, the name, and so on. Then using API, it sends emails to everyone in the data in the Excel file.
Okay. So in fact, what you have is you have the information stored in Excel database. So your database was Excel, say?
Yes.
Yes.
And then you have your program here, which is written in Java. Was it Java?
Yes.
Java. And automatically you were manipulating this.
Yes.
Yes. So you didn't use DBMS. ما كان في DBMS between you and the database. ما كان موجود صحيح?
No. We was reading directly.
Directly. Very good. So now, did you have, for example, if the disk gets lost, what would you do?
The program won't work.
It will not work. خلاص, the data is lost. معي ولا يا شباب?
Yes.
Yeah. So what about if you have what they call, did you have any backup and recovery? Do you have inside the Java program هنا كتبت حاجة اسمها backup so that you can back up the data in different machines in case they get lost, you can get them back ولا لا? No, you didn't do that one. So that's why your program was very simple and it didn't do a lot of these things which are done here. So if you have to do those things yourself, هنا حياخد منك سنين you will not finish you will be in 201 for many years, okay? Because if you have to implement all of this But nowadays with DBMS, you don't have to do that one. DBMS will do everything for you So the DBMS will do all the backup recovery for you, everything for you. So your application will just call these methods and it will not take you a lot of time to do that It will take, in fact, less time than it took you in 201 So the DBMS simply contains a lot of modules which are ready. Just go and buy them from what? Just go and buy DBMS from Jerir and خلاص, you have everything there for you. They will do backup recovery for you. They will do a lot of other things, concurrency control for you, and so on. Any question, Shabab, here? Do you understand the different? Do you have an idea about the different components of DBMS or لا?
Yes, yes.
دكتور
Yes, sir.
ايش معنى concurrency؟
Let me explain concurrency control. Let's say the following. Let's say أنا عندي حساب في البنك. Let's say I have 1,000 riyals in the bank, okay? Now, so somewhere here it is written Salah has 1,000 riyals. Did you get my point? Now let's say I want to take the money. عايز اسحب الفلوس هذه بس عايز اسحب ايش ال1000 هذه عايز اخش البنك هذا. I want to fool the bank and I want to take not only 1,000, I want to take 2,000. So what I will do is I will take my son with me and I will tell my son, okay, you go to an ATM machine. Let's assume this is an ATM machine, يا شباب. And this is my mobile. Let's say I'm using my mobile. So at the same time, مع بعض, I will ask my son to take the 1,000 riyals. At the same time, I will also try to take the same 1,000 riyals by my mobile, transfer it to somewhere else. Okay, Shabab? So the transfer of the money and the taking of the money, we want it to happen at the same time. So in the same milliseconds. Do you think the 1,000 will go to my son at the same time? At the same time, I will transfer it into my other account. Can we do that? كان نقدر نخش DBMS ولا ما نقدرش?
If you are lucky.
If I'm lucky. Yes, if we are lucky before the DBMS, okay. Now before I do that, Shabab, inshallah, when you take the course operating system, you will understand how these things work. يعني. But concurrency control simply means if concurrently, if at the same time you are taking to take the same amount of money at the same time, do you think the computer will not notice or will it notice? It will notice. So the DBMS has concurrency control. So he knows exactly you, Salah, and your.
Doctor?
So we can't hear you, Doctor.
Doctor, your mic is mute.
Doctor, can't hear you.
Sorry, are you? Can you listen to me now? Can you hear me, Sawab?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, there was some problem with the internet. It's not from, I think, probably from my side. Anyhow, okay. So what I was saying was the following. Try it yourself. يعني. Suppose if بالذات لو عندك في Bank Samba and you have money in Bank Samba, there are two ATMs, Samba ATMs together, يعني near each other. So get another card from Samba. Yes, sir.
The screen isn't appearing for me, at least.
The screen is not appearing for you. Let me share my screen again. What about now?
Yes.
Yeah. So concurrency control simply means, I don't want to confuse you. يعني simply if you want to access the same information from the database at the same time, the computer modify it. يعني if you want to modify that information, or if you want to take money at the same time from the bank مثلا, you are not allowed to do that one. He will forbid you to do that.
Doctor, there's a question.
Can I come back to your question? Just another
No
example.
problem, no problem.
سريعة قبل ما انساها معلش هذه يمكن أعلى شوية. Suppose في طيارة, there is an airplane. There is only one seat remaining in the airplane, one seat only. And there are many people, they want to book at the same time that seat. Now there is one guy who wants to book the seat from Dammam, one from Riyadh, one from Jeddah. They're all looking for that one seat اللي باقي في الطيارة يعني. So if they are trying to book it at the same time, let's say 6 people, do you think it will give all the 6 people or it will only give one of them?
One of them.
One of them. Who is doing that one? The DBMS. So the DBMS will make sure that only one of them updates the seat, gets the seat. He will not allow, if all these people are accessing at the same time, no, they cannot, in the database, only one of them will be allowed to access the database. Even though there are 3 people here, let's say this one, but only one of them will pass. So the DBMS will stop the others. So now come back to your question now. Sorry.
The person will be chosen.
It depends. Maybe يعني in first come first serve يعني. Most probably. حتى لو millisecond if or microsecond there is a difference between the first guy and the second guy. He knows who came first. يعني. This can be one algorithm. فهمت علي? Another algorithm can be maybe who is the more important يعني. Maybe there is a guy who travels a lot. فهمت علي? Maybe they have another algorithm. It depends on who you are. So there are many techniques they will use. Inshallah لما تاخذ الكورس which they call operating system, you will find out different techniques of how they choose يعني processes, programs inshallah, and so on يعني. But there can be in different criteria.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Somebody has a question. I don't know. I stopped him. Yes, sir. What was your question?
Yeah, it is related somehow to the previous question. When you are saying at the same time, you mean hypothetically at the same millisecond, or you mean like there is like a small difference that the DBMS will know about?
You can take in fact the worst case. Let's say at the same microsecond.
Yeah, let's say hypothetically at the same moment. Yes.
At the same moment, at the same point in time. فهمت علي? Now the DBMS will solve it. Don't worry.
Okay.
He will solve it. He will never allow and this kind of mistake to happen في الداتابيز.
على سبيل المثال تسجيل المواد يا أقول تسجيل المواد.
تسجيل المواد نفس الشيء exactly. For example, there is a section that you want to be in that section. In that section, only 25 people are allowed. صحيح؟
Yeah.
And many people are accessing at the same time عشان يسجلوا للمواد يعني. So only 25 people should be allowed يعني. Exactly. That's a good example. I think that happens to every semester تقريبا صحيح؟
Yes, but it's a bad example for the university because always the server crashed because of this.
Oh, that's right. يعني yeah. It could be. So the program, there is a program for application.
So they don't have a good database. Yeah.
It could be, all right. In fact, زمان, I remember يعني, the database were not as good as they are now. I remember a long time back when I came, 2003, when I came here first, يعني Saudi, I bought a TV for at that time, I don't know for how much amount of money, but it charged me twice by mistake. So, and then it took them 2 weeks time to give me back my money. طبعا عرفوا there is a mistake يعني. So they will accept the mistakes and then they go and they do check again for database and they found, oh, there is a mistake here, and they used to do that one. That used to take them 2 weeks and to get back your money. And so exactly, some programs are not good. Some programs are crappy. يعني. I will tell you, I was working in a company and when I was first hired, and I was thinking every program which is it's a big company, one of the biggest companies in Australia. So I was hired, and that company was making around $250,000 per hour. And then I was hired to take care of that program, the program that was making $250,000. Then there was one problem with the program, and they could not find out. And they told me, Salah, can you find out what's wrong with this program, what's happening? And then I printed the program. Then I started with the first method. Then the first method, you know how many pages it was? It was 66 pages. I just flipped the page. It doesn't finish. Yani. When I saw the program, it was spaghetti programs, very bad written program. But it was making money. It was making $250,000 per hour. Yani. So when you go to companies, don't be surprised. You will find a lot of crappy programs. Yani. Okay? Because especially in my time, there was no software engineering. Okay, when I graduated, the software engineering came after I graduated. I was computer science at that time. And there was no software engineering. Yani. So the programs that were written was so bad, they were not structured whatsoever. Yani. And then making any debugging, لو غيرت حاجة in the program, you will have in the other parts of the program, you will have problems. يعني. So that was a big problem. That's why they brought software engineering. يعني. They said, oh, we need software engineers. So it was software engineering was created because of this problem. Okay, so coming back into the DBMS, it has so many components, as I told you, and the components, they do all buffer management for you, data management for you, compilation for you, and everything. Now, ya shabab, as I told you, when you go to Jareer, don't only buy what? Don't only buy DBMS يا شباب، مش حيكفيك. You have to buy other tools معاه. For example, for these people who are developing, maybe you need to development tools. What development tool you use with Java يا شباب انتوا؟ Jupyter ولا ايش؟
IntelliJ maybe. IntelliJ.
What is the بتستخدموا زمان what ايش تستخدموا for the environment, development environment؟ ايش تستخدموا؟ Sorry.
Yeah, IntelliJ or Eclipse.
Okay, that one. It's a tool. صحيح؟ It's not part of the DBMS, so you have to buy those things. Those screens I showed you last time, those big screens, okay, it is done by other people. They are totally different tools. And this module of Java, which is, let's say this module is the backup and recovery. The backup and recovery module. الموديول بتاع جافا بتاعت سوري في اوراكل، الشركه اللي عملت دي بي ام اس بسموها اوراكل. I was working for that company. Oracle. Now Oracle, they have one method هنا اللي بيعمل باك اب وريكفري. It was a very bad method. There was another company who did a much better backup and recovery. So anybody who bought DBMS, he was also buying the other program from the other company because they had a better backup and recovery. So simply what I am telling you is you need to buy other tools like loading tools, backup tools, database storage organization tools, performance monitoring tools. You know, the big screens, the one I told you when I was in DBA, there were many screens. They were performance monitoring tools. So you have to buy other things. So you're not going to only to buy DBMS وخلاص. لا. You have to buy many other things which will help you with your database system. Any question here, Shabab? You need also case tools, okay? For example, remember I showed you here. How are you going to draw this, Shabab? I need a case tool to draw this, right? Maybe I will use draw.io as a tool, or I'm going to use any font and anything that will help me to draw. So this drawing tool is not part of a DBMS. You have to buy it, or you have to use it from internet, download it, and use it. So the thing that is going to do this drawings for you, it's a different tool. So it's called a case tool. Okay, so you have to buy case tools also. So when you have a DBMS, you also need communication software, you need application development software, you need data dictionary software, you need case tools. So all these things is going to be in your environment. عشان كده لما يكون عندك database management system, when you go to work to a big companies, you will find different tools, not only the DBMS, many other tools which are part of your database system. So your database system will contain, if this is your database system, assume this is your database system, you will have many tools معاه. You will have a DBMS طبعا. You will have your application programs. I don't know how many programs. So all these things together, it's needed by what? By any organization, by any company like Sabiq, like Aramco, all the big companies that you will find out. Any question here, Shabab?
Are you going to provide us with these tools? Or?
No, for us, we don't need them. The tools for the drawing, for case tool for the drawing for this diagram here, you will use draw.io. It is online, it's free. So you can use draw.io, inshallah. Okay? So for us, we are going to need only a few tools. For the Java, we already have the tool, isn't it? You will use the same tool that you already used for developing Java program for the application. So, خلينا نرجع هنا. For example, you are going to okay, you will have a Java program, you will have a DBMS, and you will have your database. Now for the Java programs that you are going to write, inshallah, you already have a tool. كلمتوني قبل شوية عنه. I don't know what the name is. If you are going to use Java, maybe we'll just use the same tool. استخدمتوه قبل شوية. Okay, for Java. Now for the ER diagram for this, for this, use a tool somehow draw.io. Draw.io. In fact, I will show you. I will take you to that website. Draw.io. I think software engineers maybe have used this one already. هذا عندها ايش different ways to draw things يعني this website I don't know, you have to go to save it في NAV, OneDrive or the device, whatever it is. Let me just say, I don't know, it will ask you to do things for you. I don't want to do that, but just to go to draw.io and you can draw this, or you can use whatever you like. Whatever you like, you can use for this. You can draw it by PowerPoint كمان حتى PowerPoint will draw these things for you. Yes.
There is a website which is more usable than Draw.io.
Which is
Lucidchart.
Lucidchart. Oh yeah, I have heard of that one. Yes, Lucidchart. Very good. So you can use whatever you like. It's fine with me.
You have to request a free account for education.
For education. Oh, okay, that's very good. So I will have a look at it. So you can use that one, ya shabab. Very good. Thank you very much for that information. Yes, you do that. So use whatever tool you want for drawing يعني. فهمت علي؟ يعني حتى PowerPoint برضه يرسم لك الأشياء دي. So these are the tools that you will use. So use different tools يعني. Now let me talk about something important. Now I think we are done with everything here تقريبا يعني. And in fact we went more يعني. We talked about many things, all of them here. But this is remaining now. N-tier architecture. Now, what do I mean by N-tier architecture? So pay attention, this can be a little bit confusing for many of you. Now, let's take, for example, Blackboard. You are using all of your Blackboard. So let's take an example of Blackboard. Blackboard, let me just put it as BB. So this is you. Let's say you are accessing your Blackboard using your mobile. So this is your mobile. Your mobile or your PC, it doesn't matter. Let me just put your mobile. Your mobile is going to talk to an application program. I don't know what the language is, how they wrote the Blackboard, I am not sure, but it's an application program. So this is an application program. The application program هيتكلم مع مين؟ مع هو يا شباب؟
DBMS.
DBMS, very good, DBMS. عشان نتأكد بس صحيحين ولا نايمين ما نعرف. DBMS. So the application will talk to the DBMS. You will not talk to the DBMS at all. You will talk through the application يعني. And this will take care of my tables, my data. It can be Excel, or it can be whatever it is. Let's assume that my data is organized in tables. This is يا شباب. So this is your mobile. Application program بتاعت Blackboard, I think it is in building 14. The DBMS is also in building 14. طبعا هذا this is just the disk يعني, it is also in building 14. It's a disk يعني, it's not a program هذا, it's simply data هو. Now, how many machines are you using يا شباب? Tell me, how many different computers are you using simultaneously? For Blackboard, how many?
4.
No, this is not a computer.
I'm gonna say
3, صحيح?
3, yes.
Your computer, this is number 1. Your the program where the application is running, which is in building 14, this is the second computer that they are using, and the DBMS is running in a separate computer. So in fact, when you access the Blackboard, ya shabab, in fact, you are accessing 3 different computers. So this architecture of the database is 3-tier architecture. 3, which is 1, 2, and 3. So this is called 3-tier architecture. Okay, Shabab, can I use 2-tier architecture? Just 2 machines instead of 3? Do you think I can do that?
Yes.
Yes.
How can I do that?
Without the DBMS.
So what it means is, if I want to run Blackboard, can they make it into instead of having one machine for DBMS, another machine for application? Can they just run both of them at the same in the same machine, like this, like this? Let me draw it for you. So this is your mobile. This is your mobile, and this is you are using your mobile. And then they will have one computer for both what? For both the application and what? And the DBMS. وعندنا الهارد ديسك طبعا هذا، وعندنا الهارد ديسك اللي فيه الداتا يعني. So the application will talk to the DBMS طبعا, which are in the same machine now, isn't it? And he will talk back to him, and the application will talk to you طبعا. And the DBMS will take care of the data for you. Now, how many machines am I using here, Shabab? This is one machine. This is what? This is a second machine, صحيح? I have only two servers, isn't it?
Yes.
This is called two-tier architecture. Okay, this is called إيش? Two-tier architecture. Do I have one-tier architecture?
No, it's not possible.
The only way it's possible is what?
Through
Even
a cloud, maybe.
Mobile, you are directly what?
Calling the DBMS.
Calling the same server اللي فيه DBMS. You are logging to that same server. معي ولا إيه؟ If you do this, this is called centralized or one tier. نسميها إيش؟ نسميها centralized. Okay? I'm not sure about the spelling. Centralized, I think. Assume my spelling is correct. Okay, centralized. So centralized نسميه. معناتها if I'm using one computer for my DBMS, for my application, also for me, I'm connecting directly into the same machine. This is called what? This is called centralized. Okay, which one do you think is better? Let's see. Let me give you different configurations.
Can you, instead of calling it a computer, we call it a server, the one that has the DBMS?
It is a server, yes, it is a server. In fact,
okay.
the application is also a server. Some application server, database server, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, very good. Now, normally, if you are using the same, let's say if you are using three-tier architecture, you have the database server, a few DBMS, you have the application server. This is the database server, the application server, and this is your mobile, your computer. يعني صحيح. Let me call it your computer. Your computer, okay? Your computer. So this is three-tier architecture. هذا نسميه three-tier architecture. I'm not going to draw the disk يعني اعتبره موجود يعني. It's not a computer, this is the disk يعني. So this is three-tier architecture. Now let me put this one as D معناتها database server. This is as A application server, and this is like client. Let me call this one the client server or client computer. It's your computer أو سميها C نسميها ما مشكلة. So now in two architecture I can do the following. I can have this is three-tier. This is three-tier. Now let me talk about two-tier الحين ثاني مرة. In three-tier I can have the database and the application مع بعض. So the D and A مع بعض, and I will have my client. This is called two-tier. And in one tier, no, everything will be in one place. D is at the same time the A, at the same time what? The C. Is this clear, Shabab?
Clear.
It's yes. Very clear. Very good. Now, this is if you are doing this kind of architecture. معناته إيش لازم it must be that you have all of us. We have to go. Let's say if Blackboard was like this. إيش كانت حتصادفنا مشكلة؟ Tell me.
Local storage.
All of you have to go to building 14 وتمسكوا الصف هناك. Then we will allow only one person to access Blackboard.
I think it will be like a local host, right?
It will be like a local host. But only one user can use the system. يعني only one user at a time.
I think 40 years ago it was like this, right?
It was like this one. It was like this one, definitely. يعني. So you have to go. In fact, when I was a student here, I came in 1981 تقريبا هنا في الجامعة. I'm glad at that time يعني, there was no, but those who came before me, maybe a few years before me, they were using يعني similar system تقريبا. They were using something called bunch card. They write their programs in cards. They bunch the card. بعدين in building 14 there was a window. You have to go give him the program, which is a lot of cards يعني. زي بتاعت الكشتين, but they are bunched يعني. So you have to write them. You have to put them properly in the proper place, just like a proper algorithm. And you give him in build 14. Then they give him through the window. Then he takes those one. He puts it into a card reader, and he was running your program. Then if you have a mistake, you have to go back and do the cards again. Yeah. This was how things were before I came, exactly a few years before I came. But when I came, and things were better. Yeah. Okay, but this was in 1970s. Things were like this one. So before, things were like this one. But still, I can have things like this one. For example, in my library, the Excel sheet اللي عملته انتو الحين. Okay, if I am going to use that kind of a library, I can have to use that computer. يعني نفس الكمبيوter. I cannot really access it. Okay, you remember the small library, the one I told you in the first day you came to my class? Okay, I talked about the small library.
Yes.
So the systems, the system that we did using Excel, معناته only one person can use it. يعني. So you have to go to the library and then you have to stand in the queue. Then you will have to come. He will have to update his Excel document. Then he will give you the book. Then you have to, and so on. يعني. So only one person can use it. But let's come back to Blackboard. I am glad Blackboard is not like this. وإلا كنت حتكون توقف في الشمس يعني للساعات عشان to get 5 minutes of Blackboard. يعني. Now, this is the Blackboard architecture طبعا, which we like, يعني, which is good. يعني. So I'm not going to talk about this 3-tier. What about this? Is this a good idea?
Yes.
Yes, a lot of people, so we can have a lot of clients. The only problem is now the database server and the application server are running on the same machine, so it might be slow. You are getting my point?
Yes.
So yeah, so it's slower than this, definitely. It's cheaper. You need only 2 computers, but the only thing is it's going to be slow because now the database server at the same time the application server are running at the same time. And I have so many clients. They are not the only. So they are all connected to the same, many clients. They are connected to the same database and application server. Then this machine here, it might be slow because it has to process many things at the same time. Another architect, yes, sir.
Most of our work and projects in the university are in the second one, the 2-tier.
They are using this, isn't it?
For us as a student, I mean.
No. For you as a student, you will do this, inshallah, in my project, in my class.
So we will have 2 servers. Or 2
you will have to, yeah. So maybe you have to. Some of my previous students, they will use one of their PCs as a server, because they are going to be 3 students. So one of the computer will be the database server, another computer will be the application server.
Yes.
And then you will use your mobile. Or some students, they do this one in the cloud. So they will ask it from the cloud. So these 2 will be in a cloud.
Yeah.
And then,
yes.
and then they will use you will use your mobile to show me what you have done. Yani. Don't worry. When we come to this one, we'll talk about it, inshallah.
Is it fine if we just use one computer like the first one here, 1-tier?
No. This is not a good. This will be like ICS 201. Okay. No, we want really to at least you will have 2. If you do 2, it's fine. If you do 1, I'm not going to. I have bonus points, Shabab. دايما عندي bonus points. This is acceptable for me. You can do your project like this one and you can get full mark, but you will not get the bonus points. So if you do this, you'll get bonus. If you do this, you'll get more bonus.
Bonus for the whole course, not for the
project. For that project. So if the project is if the project is 20%, I normally go up to 25%. So I give even up to 5% bonus points. Yeah.
But the the extra 5 contributes to the full mark, to the 100 mark of the course.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. لو الكويزات حقك ما مظبوطة والميتر حيساعدك طبعا هذا definitely. Okay. Now, what about this? D, A, and C. Can I have the following? Can I have this? Let me erase this. Can I have this 2-tier command? I will have the database server لحاله, just like this, the D. Are you with me? But I'm going to tell every client to download the application. So the application مع client حيكون كده. This is also 2 machines, isn't it? Your machine and the database server. But the application has to be downloaded into your what? Into your computer. What about this architecture? Do you think it is good?
Yes, I think it's good. Actually, we use it.
Huh?
Actually, we use it, I think.
A lot of people use this one. So you download applications, isn't it? And so on. The only problem with this one is each time the application gets modified, you have to download it again. Do you understand?
which is the update, right?
Yeah, update again. Exactly. Like what we do with Windows. Each time you have to download it and update it. And this is the only problem. But this is also another possibility, okay? So in this case,
is it possible for mobile application to have the third
the whole application? Exactly. Yeah, maybe it's not possible. You're right. If I don't know how big your application is. If it's quite big, maybe your mobile will not handle it. So in that case, you have to use your PC or something. But again, this is another two-tier architecture. Also, this is two. So you have two versions of two-tier architecture. Okay.
Now the version, Doctor.
I will come to this one. For the bad thing about this one is this will make things slow, but you don't have to download anything because they will do everything here for you, so you don't have to worry about this one. The problem with this one, this will be fast because everybody is now running the application in his computer, so I don't have to run the application here. So this is fast. But the problem with this one is it will have security problems, definitely. But the problem also, you must have a very good machine to download the application. If I need to download the whole application, sometimes they will not allow you to download the whole application. They will allow you to download only part of the application هنا يعني. But for us, let's assume that في الكورس هذا حيكون عندنا يا كده يا كده يا كده يا كده. So you have 4 choices in the course يعني. Yes, but to understand, this is slow. This is fine. The only thing is you have to update each time the application changes. So everybody has to update. في الجامعة عندي حوالي 10,000 students. Each time, if this is what we are going to use for Blackboard, then what do we have to do? So each time the Blackboard changes, we have to update Blackboard again and again. Any question?
Yes, Doctor. Can you give us an example for the left and the two-tier, the left model?
This one?
Yeah, I don't know an application without downloading, or there is always
okay.
You download something.
Sometimes it can be. Sorry?
A web application works in this similar way, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So فهمت علي? So you don't have to download, especially if you are using web-based interface, you don't have to download anything and automatically you can just automatically use it. So the interface is web-based, yes.
Okay, the web-based, okay.
Any question يا شباب? Let's see if I can finish this chapter because I think متأخرين شوية. So this is a centralized, معناته only one computer. This is 2 computers. This is 3 computers. Do we have more than 3 computers? Yes, we do. Sometimes, let me just, sometimes what we have is, we have another computer here for security, checks security. I can have another computer here also for security. فهمت علي? So الجامعة ممكن يعملوا لك another dedicated computer for security. So you cannot go from the application that, sorry, maybe this is not important, maybe this is important. So before you go to the application, first of all, you have to go to the security computer. Okay, like a firewall. Are you with me, Shabab? So now this becomes 4-tier architecture, not 3-tier architecture anymore. Because you have to download, they have to use 4 computers now, and so on. Yeah. Okay, coming back to this again. So classification of DBMS. Now, when you go to Jareer to buy a DBMS, what do you think you will ask them, Shabab, for a project? Are you going to buy, now there have different kinds of DBMS, Shabab. I'm talking about DBMS. So when you go to Jareer, what are you going to ask them? I think I will continue in my next class. I don't think I can finish this one within 1 or 2 minutes. So here and then I'll summarize. So next class at 9 o'clock sharp, I will talk about classification of DBMS, inshallah, and we'll finish the chapter. Any question before I let you go?
Yes, Doctor. The quiz.
Yes. By the way, today you have a lab. Okay. Now, those of you who are my students, you don't have to come to the lab today because I will ask the other section from the other class, I will ask them to do Excel, what they call, to design the small library, the one I gave you, but to do it in Excel. Yani. You are welcome to come if you want to, but I will give them the same problem to solve it. Yani. Okay, and then we will solve it during the lab. Yani.
So we don't
now, I'm going, yes, sir. You will have a quiz next class. It's going to be online. It's going to be in Blackboard, and it's going to be multiple choice. It will cover chapter 1 and chapter 2. Chapter هذا معنا. Okay.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. It's in your schedule. It's in the syllabus, isn't it? Am I right, Shabab? Week 3.
Yes, it is.
Yes, week 3. Yes.
15 سبتمبر.
So chapter 1 and chapter 2 إن شاء الله. اللاب اليوم الساعة 5 عندنا and the next one is on Tuesday. So this week for my section there is no need for a lab if you understood the design of the Excel sheet that we did the first and the second day. Otherwise you are welcome to come.
What kind of question, Doctor, do you expect?
Like for example, what is the data model, and I will answer it for you. You just have to choose the right one, or I will make some kind of matching. والله ما حضرت لسه أنا. بس الامتحان حيكون يا matching يا. So most of the time يعني it's going to be what I told. For example, in this 2-tier or 3-tier architecture, what's the advantage of 2-tier? What's the advantage of 3-tier? This kind of questions يعني.
Based on understanding, yeah. Okay.
Understanding, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doctor.
Let me take attendance quickly معلش, and let me stop the recording if you don't mind.